Hello, and welcome to this case study on a person I'm going to call Amber, who's a professional musician. My name is Joseph Arnold with SoulforceMusicSchool, and I'm just going to share a little bit about Amber and some of the challenges, hopes, and fears she's having, as well as how Soulforce music can help. So let's get right to it. Amber is 36 years old. She's a violinist. She lives in West Philadelphia with a few friends. She supports herself with a day job at a violin shop, but her real joy is playing in the pit of the local musical theater troupe. She loves being in nature. She's currently single, but wants to settle down soon. She loves performing, but hates teaching. She's had too many students who just didn't practice and got burnt out on teaching. She's a motivated self-learner and has re-enrolled in an online grad school for music so she can finish the music degree that she started a few years ago but never finished. She doesn't really enjoy the classes. However, she's doing it more for the degree. Amber often feels like she doesn't really know what she's doing with her life. I don't know, maybe you can relate. She practices yoga regularly, goes for runs, and has tried meditation on a few occasions. Amber has pretty severe performance anxiety, but has coped with that using beta blockers and the occasional glass of wine. She loves performing otherwise, but has never really liked her sound quality. She wishes she could play with ease and simplicity and power, like some musicians that she admires. The only time she felt this way really was in a summer music program in the woods that she did many years ago. She had a lovely, kind-hearted teacher and loved being able to go for hikes every day. These days, however, practicing feels like a chore, and before the pandemic, gigs felt stressful, and even more so because she doesn't really get paid enough on these gigs. She really hates the mindless gigs that do pay well, such as weddings, and she often does this just for the money. And during the pandemic, she hasn't really played violin much at all, but has played a little bit of guitar. And now that the pandemic is ending, she's thinking about performing again. But the thought fills her with a dark malaise. Amber is worried that her technique has gotten sloppy, but can't find much motivation to practice the violin. The pandemic has been stressful for her, but it has also been an opportunity to reconsider her values around playing music. What do I want? She asks. What am I doing as a musician? She has a vague sense that she wants to make music with humans, have fun, and she fantasizes about playing fiddle tunes around the fire with friends this summer. So I wonder if any part of Amber's story resonates with you. Yeah, I've been hearing this a lot from musicians around motivation and like, what am I doing with my life? And not really wanting to go back to playing mindless gigs. Having a hard time finding the motivation to practice. And for music teachers as well, having a hard time getting students to be motivated to practice as well. And I can say for myself, in my own gigging and playing, I definitely am looking forward to playing music again. But I really don't like those mindless gigs, And so what are we going to do here? In some ways, the pandemic has been kind of like a reset button for many of us. Of course, it's been extremely difficult for many of us, and lots of people have died and gotten sick. But for some of us, maybe you included, there's been kind of a silver lining where there's been an opportunity to kind of pause and reconsider your values, priorities, what you want. I know that's certainly been the case for me. So, and that really is the key to motivation as well. Getting clearer on what you want, on your values, and discovering an inspiring vision for yourself. You know, if the pandemic really was a reset button or a chrysalis that we're emerging out of now, what do you want this new thing to look like? What do you want your performing career to look like? What do you want your art to look like? Do you want it to be just playing gigs? Or do you want like a real creative, like a rich, creative practice in your life? So, I mean, if you've watched this far, you're probably more wanting the rich creative practice, right? And the inspiring vision. So I'll just share a little bit about what that looks like in the Soulforce Music School. This idea of Soulforce comes from Mahatma Gandhi. It was his term for his movement that liberated India from colonial rule. And it was nonviolent and yet incredibly courageous. Other great civil rights leaders such as Martin Luther King and Nelson Mandela also picked up on this notion and used it to great effect. And, Soulforce needn't be just for these great civil rights leaders. Really, anybody can have it. And the way that we define it at the Soulforce Music School is that quality that shows up in you when you face life's challenges with courage, compassion, connection, curiosity, and playfulness. And we have a lot of challenges, don't we? In the world as a whole, and just in getting by as a musician. The modern world, in the United States, don't really support the arts, like in some places in the world, especially the sort of well-to-do European countries. Artists have a tough life, so we really need some Soulforce to get through it. And one of the beautiful things about Soulforce is that it ties together your art and your life. When you are making art, when you are playing music with Soulforce, your performances will be so inspiring. You'll feel inspired, you'll feel free and powerful, capable, and confident up on stage, and your audiences will be in love with you. They'll say, who is that? That's what it's like. And I'm sure you've heard performances, seen performances like that, where you're just transfixed by this person who's just emanating some kind of something powerful. So that something, that's Soulforce. And you can learn that too. Some parts of that are learning how to play from the heart, and that means something very particular to us. Being able to take care of yourself compassionately. Let's see if I can remember all the 5 pillars of Soulforce musicianship here. So those are 2 of them. Oh yeah, and when we say that you share your gifts as a musician, it's true, and we also take it one step further, that when you play music, you're not just sharing your gifts, it's you. That's the gift. So it's learning how to embody that, knowing that you are the gift. And the final pillar of Soulforce musicianship has to do with a purpose or mission in life. You know, and this is the thing around motivation. If you like, of course, you don't want to practice if you don't have anything to work towards. Of course. Why would you pick up your instrument and do something hard if there's not something beautiful and inspiring for you to work towards? And I can't claim to have the answer for you. It really is a matter of figuring out your own values, your own vision for your life, something that really brings you alive. And that's the key to the whole thing right there. Making music in a way that brings you alive, living your life in a way that brings you alive. There's a wonderful quote from Howard Thurman, who was a colleague of Martin Luther King. He said, "Don't ask what the world needs. Instead, ask what brings you alive, and then go do that. Because what the world needs is to bring you alive." The world needs is people who have come alive. The world needs people who have come alive right now. The world needs you to show up in your life in this way. The world needs you. You. To come alive. The world desperately needs you to come alive in your life. And the wonderful thing about that is that it brings your life and the well-being of those around you and the whole planet together. When you come alive, you'll be doing a greater service than you can possibly imagine to your own life and to the world. You know, I don't know about you, but I've had doubts about life as a musician. You know, if I really wanted to be helping the world, you know, does playing another concert really do that? Composing music, does it really do that? Teaching music, does it really do that? You know, aren't there forests to be saved, whales to be saved, injustice to be healed, wounds to be healed, bellies to be filled? Here's the thing. If doing any of those things brings you alive, then go do them. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. But if playing music with humans brings you alive, then you should go do that. Because the world needs people who have come alive. So, if any of this speaks to you, please do reach out. We are in the process of putting together some programs for musicians like you, and we would love to hear from you. So probably the best way to reach out to us is through our email address right now. We'll have a website up soon. SoulforceMusicSchool@gmail.com, and I'll put that in the show notes below. Yeah, please do reach out. We can give you some of our resources, and if you're interested in some of our offerings around how to find motivation and inspiration for your life, how to play very freely in your body, how to play very powerfully, then yeah, let's do be in touch. Okay, see you next time.